Hey, how's that?
Oh, hey,
Hey,
Jason Spisak, Kevin Gunn, how are you doing?
what's up? I'm fine. Now
Oh,
I have clothes on, and they're generally very businesslike today. So despite what I sound like, I really am incredibly professional.
well,
Yeah,
thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to
sure.
our fans, or your fans, should I say, on
No,
DCComicsNews.com.
they're your fans. They're your fans. I'm just borrowing them for like 5 minutes.
Oh, well, we appreciate it. Uh,
Fair enough.
Tell us a little bit. I mean, I know some, and I read some of the IMDb usual jargon or whatnot. But tell us a little bit about Jason Spisak, how you got into what you do now, and I also read somewhere that you do some computer programming. Is that right?
Oh gosh, that was like another life, a distant past.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I had two loves as I was growing up. I mean, my dad had like a 386 around the house and stuff, and I had Nintendo Entertainment System, and I did love gaming and things like that. And so I was always into computers and always tinkering around with them and BASIC and Python and things like that. So, but I also sat too close to the television and did all of the Warner Brothers characters and Hanna-Barbera and all that stuff. So I have always had a bit of two loves growing up. So I did some work on computers. I mean, I started a Linux operating system back in 1990s, and I had a Linux computer as early as like a year ago, and things like that. Obviously, voiceover and acting has been my passion my whole life. I was in plays when I was in 7th grade, and went to school and got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater at Syracuse and Arizona State, and but computers have always been there in my life. I mean, we are now unable to escape the presence of computers in our lives. So, I kind of, I guess, embraced that early, and never really gave that up. I am far too busy with acting now to do any of that stuff.
So, so tell us a little bit about acting, how you got into it, and how you made the transition from live action to voiceover.
Sure. I actually never wasn't doing voiceover. I mean, there was a long time ago, oh gosh, like 15 or 17 years ago when I first got to LA, and I did stand-up comedy and was trying to get an on-camera career. And I think I was on Saved by the Bell, the new class, for like one episode where I played Melvin the Water Boy. Like, that was the extent of my on-camera juggernaut of a career.
Mm-hmm.
But not too long after that, I ended up doing cartoons and things like that. I was on Nickelodeon's Rocket Power for 40 episodes, which a lot of people grew up watching. Mm-hmm. That was a short-lived on-camera life before voiceover, and then they've kind of been in parallel ever since. I've done more on-camera work recently now that my kids are a little bit older, because on camera you have to be there in person, and there's a bit longer hours. And like, I was in Piranha 3D, and we were out on Lake Havasu. I was out on a boat with Ving Rhames on Lake Havasu for like 8 hours, and it's just long days.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have young kids, I didn't really want to do that. So I've been doing more on camera recently. There's a movie I'm in called Time Lapse that's out on Netflix with Daniel Pennebaker from The Flash.
Oh yeah,
it's a good thriller. It's an independent thriller, but I don't have as much on-camera credit just because I haven't focused on it as much as voiceover in the last few years. So voiceover is always my first love. I can be anyone. I can be anything. I played a hunchback in Mad Max, the game. I've played orcs. I play, Kid Flash, and then the Joker, and the cornucopia of roles available to me as a voice actor is so amazing, and I wouldn't give that up for anything.
Well, speaking of Kid Flash and the Joker, we're going to segue a little bit. Let's talk about first Green Lantern and your role of Razor. Loved your stuff with that.
Thank you.
Wow, it was again like with Young Justice. I think it ended too soon.
Yeah, they pulled the plug on that just as it kind of really was getting steam. Only 2 seasons of Green Lantern and only 2 seasons of Young Justice. you'll ask any fan of either show, and they'll tell you it wasn't enough. And the real sad part about Green Lantern is that they were telling a story that wasn't in the canon. Razor and Aya's story is not in the comic books, and it's not in the canon. And they were exploring new creative territory. And that's the kind of stuff that I love to do, because Bruce Timm and Giancarlo Volpe and Jim Krieg was one of the writers on there. They were getting to explore something new. And how often does that get to be the case, you know, with superheroes and the DC world? Not very. And so that was pure enjoyment for all of us creating it and for the fans watching it. And they didn't want that to stop. When you have something new, you don't want the ride to be over.
Right. And he was just about to become a Blue Lantern, I think it was, you know. And
oh, really? Is that what you think?
I think.
Well, we will see, my friend.
Yeah, well.
I don't know.
Hopefully,
okay,
maybe DC will pick that up as a comic book or something, you know.
Man, I hope so. I hope so. I would pick up a comic book with Razor in it so fast. Take my money.
Do you read comic books?
I don't have much time to do that, but I'd read a Razor comic.
Yeah.
Anymore?
Right.
Not so much. But I'd read a Razor comic. There's a lot of fan art out there about Razor as a Blue Lantern, and all of it is super. I love it. You know, I mean, I'll scroll through Tumblr, trolling on there, and look at some of the great stuff that people have come up with. And there's something about that relationship between Razor, who's got emotional stability issues and a really troubled past, and a computer who's trying to figure out what love is. Aya's trying to figure out what love is, and that is so engaging in 2016 because we all spend so much time with our computers. We're all trying to figure out what it's like to be a human in a half computerized world. Yeah. And so it really resonates with people a lot. So.
Yeah, my wife calls my MacBook my other lover, so it's, you know.
Did you name it Aya?
No, her name is, what is her name? My daughter named her Mahogany. That was my first computer. And
nice.
And she died.
That's cool, actually.
And so this is Burgundy. We're talking on Burgundy right now.
I like it. Everything has kind of like a wine and wood taste going on there. You know, very classy. You're very classy. What you do with your computer names, Kevin. My goodness. And then over here, we have something made of gold and diamonds. And I call that my iPhone.
Not in the gun household. You won't find
It's made of cubic zirconium and fool's gold.
Right.
It's my iPhone. Running Android. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of Green Lantern, I got to interview Kevin Michael Richardson a few years ago.
Oh, I love Kevin.
Yeah.
He went to Syracuse as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Not at the same time. He's just a little bit before me, but yeah, man, working with him as Kilowog. First of all, anytime you get to work with Kevin Michael, every moment in the booth is absolute joy and fun. The man's spirit is undeniably contagious.
I agree.
And I love that. That is one of the pieces of my job. I get to work with so many incredibly talented people and humblingly talented. You're sitting next to Gray Delisle and Kevin Michael Richardson, and you're like, just let me tread water. Just let me keep up. I can do this. I'm just going to doggy paddle, and I'll be fine. You know, and you hope something great comes out. And they have a way of elevating your performance to another level because you want to feel like you belong in the room. And we had so much fun. They definitely would have not allowed us within 30 feet of a school if they recorded all the fun stuff we had going on.
And there was a great balance between your acting, you, Josh, and Kevin Michael, and the writing on the show, especially like I think it was 3 episodes in or 2 episodes in where you all were on the ship. And, you know, Josh as Green Lantern were telling you both, all right, now shake hands. And all
right, you poozer. Kevin, man.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Okay.
I'll let him shake hands first.
And speaking of Kevin Michael Richardson, you both also worked on Young Justice together.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably can't work on a show without working with Kevin Michael.
Mhm.
Because he's on so many shows. And yes, I had the pleasure of working with him. Young Justice was a tour de force everybody waltzed through that room at one point. There were so many characters in that show.
Mhm.
It was insane. They had everybody from the Justice League, major characters, and then they had all of the younger characters, and then
Don't call them sidekicks.
when you're doing like Zatanna and Zatara, and you're like, yeah, we've had a lot of people on here at this point, haven't we?
Mhm.
And I love that because you'd get to see somebody's take on a comic book character every week. You'd get to see somebody's awesome take
Mhm.
on a comic book character.
So, when you did recordings for Young Justice, were you all in the same room, or was it?
Yeah. The only time we weren't was maybe pickups. When you come back in to pick up a line here or there or do an effort. But Greg Wiseman, the creative genius, and Brandon Vietti, the other creative genius behind Young Justice, wanted us all to be in the room together as much as possible.
Mhm.
Sometimes scheduling conflicts would prevent that, or sheer volume of human bodies
Uh-huh.
would prevent that because there's not enough mics. I think there was 12 of us or 13 of us at one point for some episodes in the first season.
Mhm.
But it was that interplay between the characters that made it so visceral and so real when you watch it.
Mhm.
And that's achieved by having the actors all next to each other.
And of course, Wally met his demise.
Oh, man! Spoilers! What are you doing?
I know.
Oh, my gosh. You have just crushed so many fans. What's wrong with you, dude?
I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm hoping, and I know that there's a push right now to try to get a third season of Young Justice. I'm sure you've heard.
Sure. And I think that probably will last until there's a third season. I may be in my 90s when that is actually achieved,
Mhm.
but I'm pretty sure that it will continue. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I know as much as everybody on Twitter knows, or someone who talks to a Netflix customer service rep knows.
Uh-huh.
But you'd like to think that if there's enough fan interest and that Netflix is able to just create content out of thin air because they have subscribers, they don't have to be powered by advertising, or toy sales necessarily, that they could get the rights. You'd like to think so, but it's a many-cogged machine. There's many gears in that machine, and I'm not aware of all of them.
Yeah.
And that it's difficult to do. So
Well, I know.
and I just retweet and say do it.
And you retweeted one of my tweets, so
And if I ever get any Netflix employees in a 20-foot radius, I just mug them and hold them down and say, "You will now. You will do this. If you do not do this, you will not get up." But that doesn't generally work.
oh yeah, and you tend to get arrested when you do stuff like that. So
Right. This is why I wear a mask.
yeah.
If I've learned anything about being a superhero or a villain, it's that don't let them know who you really are. Right?
Well, gosh, I just lost track of what I was saying. Young
My job, Ken. I'm very good at it.
Oh, what I was going to say was, I think the next push, if we're trying to binge YJ or binging YJ, definitely want to see bring back Wally, or bring back Spisak as Wally, or something.
You would like to hope, and that Greg and Brandon have more storytelling in them, and that if it didn't involve Wally in some capacity, that they'd be missing out on an opportunity to tell another piece of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think either of them would just say, "Nah, we'll just close the lid on that. We'll never see him again."
Yeah.
I mean, they would make it hurt. Like, Greg would want to twist the thumb screws a little bit,
Mhm.
for sure. Whatever he's got in store, it'll hurt. So don't think it's going to be Wally's coming back and it's all roses, because that's not their style.
No.
But,
Hopefully, here's having fingers crossed and everything.
hope so.
And your latest, the latest DC vehicle that you're in, it just came out recently. I think that was Lego DC Superheroes, Justice League. They have such long titles.
I think
Gotham
it's
City
called
Breakout.
Lego DC we've got some superheroes in it, plus the Joker and Bane and Deathstroke. Come watch it.
Uh-huh.
That's actually the name of it. But they shortened it to Lego DC Gotham City Breakout.
Okay. Yes, I've seen it, and I've seen your work in it. Nice Joker, very, very apropos. Very nice.
He gets to talk to a spoon.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different. Like, a lot of people have asked me, what did you want to do with your take on the Joker? And I was like, well, he talks to a spoon from like the very second or third scene. He digs his way out of Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of sets the stage for a bit more of a zany, lighthearted romp to me. And yes, Joker? Anytime you get to play a spoon at the same time. Oh, tell me something, Spoonie. You're beautiful, Joker. I love you. Yes, say it again. Anytime you get a chance silverware, you kind of have to honor that with a little bit of a lighthearted and fun take, I think.
Oh, it was great. And what I like about the Lego DC superhero movies, they're for kids, but they still have just they push the envelope just a little bit as far as things for adults. And
it is a layer cake.
Yeah.
And we are very aware of that when we're making it, that we want to make sure that jokes and things play across the board, and there's always something for everybody. Because the parents are watching that with their arms around the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen. And if that's your audience, you're crazy just to let half the audience not be participating in it. So you have to honor that, and we do try really hard. Was that? You think that'd be too much? We always ask in the booth. You think that's too much for the kids, or too little for the parents, or what? And we're always trying to hone in on that magic Lego resonance that you get, and you can definitely feel it when you watch it, and you know it when you hear it. It's like a Lego sensibility, and definitely an honor and a gift to get a chance to help create that. So
you say you have younger kids. Have they seen the Lego DC superheroes? And
not yet, because they're coming to the Los Angeles premiere, which is July 9th.
Okay.
So they haven't yet. I want them to be surprised when they watch it in the theater for the first time.
Okay, well, we won't talk about that if they...
I said nothing.
Okay.
You said nothing? You know nothing?
I see nothing.
All right, my friend.
Okay, so is there anything you can talk about? I know that those DC Warner Brothers.
My kids in the basement, so they can't hear this.
Well,
anyway.
Not about them, but I mean like the DC Warner Brothers people. I know they're always stashed places, and sometimes they hide in people's walls and whatnot. So
yeah.
Is there?
in this plant over here.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, hi. Hold on. Let me talk to the publicity people at Warner Brothers. Guys, I'm doing an interview. Man, leave me alone. What am I allowed to say? You can't say anything. All right.
Okay. So is there a project that you can talk about DC related that you may be doing in the not too distant future? What the plant say?
No.
Oh, no, you're not, or no, you can't talk about it.
There's,
I know.
I cannot announce my involvement in another DC-related project, although I am in at least two, so I can't say a word about them, though.
Okay.
Because I do not want to get whiplash from a plant.
I appreciate that.
I do not understand the pain is involved in that, especially if it's silk. I mean, those burns do not heal. Ow, stop it. I thought you were supposed to be gentle like a kimono robe, but you're not. You're a very harsh silk plant. You need to go back to Michael's where they bought you.
Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, that just happened on your podcast. Yeah.
What are you working on currently that you can talk about, even though it's not DC related? I know you mentioned you're doing some work with Disney.
Actually, you know what? There's nothing I can talk about except for Powerpuff Girls. The reboot is out, and I play a couple of bad guys on that.
There you go.
And I can't. All the rest of the stuff that I'm working on is kind of
hush hush, top secret.
Yeah, there's actually 3 projects I can't even talk about. One's a video game. Actually, two of them are video games, and another's an animated thing. And if I mention them, I am always worried about making a mistake with social media and then having to look like the dumb actor who's like, I totally thought that was out. Didn't you make the announcement about that yet? Well, you did now. So, no, yeah. Not great for the resume boost for me to not be able to talk about everything. But, when it comes out, we always make a storm about it on my Twitter feed. And I have a YouTube channel where... Have you seen my YouTube channel?
I have not seen the YouTube channel, but I am a follower on Twitter, so...
Well, you have to go to the YouTube channel. My daughter found out that I played the Lego Joker. And when she did, she's a budding makeup artist. So she basically made me up like the Joker. And I held the iPhone like right up here as she was doing the whole thing. And so it's called My Dad the Joker. And it's basically like a 3-minute video of her doing my makeup as the Joker. And I'm in character. So it's very funny.
Well, since that's a DC character, I'm sure we'll put a link to that on after we post this story. So that'll be real nice to look at. That would be fun. She's like, how many people have watched it? She wants to know how many people have seen it. How old is your daughter?
She's 10.
Okay.
Actually, 13-year-old and 10-year-old.
Oh, fun age. I got a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old.
So much fun, man. And the great thing about having daughters is that there is a corner that we're turning in not just the DC universe, but superhero universes in general, where superheroes, regardless of their gender, are able to take a primary role. That that Harley Quinn and the Joker are getting to that point where they're on the same level, and Wonder Woman and Artemis in my relationship, right? What is Wally without Artemis? Nothing.
Right.
I mean, he's 50% of zero then without her. And to have heroes like Artemis for my daughters is so important to me as a father, and I cannot stress enough to the writers and the creators of all the games and all the content, more stuff for young ladies. And I love that it's happening. It really is encouraging to me.
I got to talk to Yvette Nicole Brown.
Oh, yes. Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, she plays Amanda Waller on DC Superhero Girls.
Yes.
And we had a great conversation. And I also have 2 older daughters, and one of my daughters, she has 4 children, one of whom's a girl. And that's Big Daddy. I'm Big Daddy. That's Big Daddy's heart, and
That's right.
She was all into the what are those things called, Monster High and all that. And I said, well,
yeah.
I said, well, those are nice, but have you seen? They got this new Wonder Woman and Bumblebee and Supergirl and Batgirl now, and I think they're really awesome. And they are, and that's the best part is you watch the content and they are lead roles, taking charge, being in command, and doing the things that superheroes do, regardless of gender. And I love that about the way they're being presented now. It warms my heart, and I'm happy to be a part of anything like that. Yeah, me too. Well, I'm not a part of it, but I like to be a consumer, I guess. And
you are a part of it, man. Being a fan is so much a part, because without fans and people to watch, we're just standing alone in living rooms talking to plants. So.
Thank you so much. Jason, is there anything else you want to add before we conclude?
No, but I hope everybody enjoys me as the Lego Joker in Gotham City Breakout and keeps binging YJ. And I would say pressure for more Razor, because I loved Razor as a character. He was near and dear to my heart. And, keep being fans. And I think there's a reason why it's short for fanatic. Yeah. It can work for you.
And after this interview, I'll go out and purchase my cosplay and go do something. So,
wait! I'm gonna cosplay as a plant now.
Okay.
There we go. Hold on, I gotta get in my costume. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure if the mask is working. Oh, it is. There it is. There now. I am Leaf Man. How dare you? Do not touch my leaves unless you have come with extra chlorophyll.
Oh gosh. Okay, Jason, thank you so much.
All right. Take it easy, Kevin.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.